Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to episode 9 of 100 Reasons to Become Muslim. Today we are discussing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deep knowledge of the heavens. We talked about the universe, we talked about the ocean, now we're talking about the sky. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the sky that He is the one who has lifted and kept floating the heavy clouds, which is very interesting. The clouds don't look heavy. And if you were to guess, they're not heavy because they're floating, like, above your head. Heavy things fall and sink. Light things, they go up. And you would assume that the clouds are very light. But when you look this up, the clouds, on average, are like 2 million pounds. An immensely heavy thing. And Allah SWT emphasizes this in another spot as well, where He says, do you not see that Allah has upheld the sky without any pillars? If I told you that you need to put 2 million pounds at this height and no pillars are allowed, you'd be like, that's impossible. But yet we have 2 million pounds of water hanging over our heads, right? And I live in Houston, Texas. Sometimes it comes down all at once. And you could see the river levels rising and you could see like the streets flooding. That was all hanging above your head. And it's just floating there. It's kind of scary to think about, actually. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting that here, that these clouds are heavy and they're held up without pillars. Are you not amazed at the creation of Allah? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the heavens as a protective barrier for the earth. The sky definitely protects the earth in many ways, more ways than one. One of those ways being the greenhouse effect, that there are UV rays that are very harmful to us, that are trapped in the atmosphere and become heat. And in fact, it's because of this greenhouse effect that life can exist at all. The other thing that the atmosphere does, this is actually not an atmosphere thing, this is the magnetic field of the earth, that it repels solar flares, right? And those also would have stripped the earth bare if we did not have that. It would have stripped the atmosphere and all the things that are required for life, and we would have just been a barren rock like Mars or some of these other planets. So the earth is equipped with this barrier that protects us from the forces of outer space. And even the ozone layer, it is something that dissolves these meteorites that come in, right? All this debris that comes and tries to land on Earth, most of it just gets burned up in the atmosphere. That's another layer of protection that's there. Another thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here is the formation of hail. And He says that it comes from mountains in the sky. What is a mountain in the sky? Scientists have classified clouds into many categories, and it turns out that hail comes from a type of cloud called the cumulonimbus cloud, which is like this massive cloud, right? Which is, huge in height. And it resembles, the type of towering height that you would get from a mountain. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this in the Quran, that hail is coming from these cumulonimbus clouds that are like mountains.